Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, and welcome to another video on the channel. Today is a video, believe it or not, and obviously with the new appointment of Nuno Espirito Santo at the expense of Steve Cooper's sacking, I'm going to take you through, and I'm going to do a bit of analysis. Yes, I'm a pundit now. I'm just going to talk about Nuno, how he did at Wolves, how I think we'll play, what to expect, etc, etc. So without further ado, make sure to sit back, relax, but before you do, most importantly, make sure you smash the like button, subscribe if you are new, and if you never want to miss a video, turn on the notifications bell so you are notified whenever I upload. And without further ado, let's go. So, Nuno Espirito Santo, the former Wolves manager, takes over from Steve Cooper. Yeah, it's been quite a turbulent couple of days now at Forest, but hopefully Nuno can come in and like steady the ship almost. It's been a crazy period for the fan base, and hopefully Nuno can come in and do a very good job. As much as I love Cooper, and I still do think it is harsh that he was sacked. I think Nuno, the way he spoke in the press conferences, the way Wolves fans speak about him, the way he got Wolves playing back-to-back 7th place finishes, and even when they had that little bit drop-off and they finished 13th, that's still a good season, that's still a solid mid-table season. So the more I think about it, how he linked the Wolves fans, similar to how Cooper linked our fan base, I do think this has got the fundamentals and the potential to be a very solid appointment. I still have that slight feeling in my mind that 12 months' time, will he still be here? Hopefully, hopefully, but I'm not too sure with how Marinakis is moving right now. But yeah, let's actually get into the analysis. So, looking at the systems he played at Wolves in terms of formation, the main formations he does like to play is a 3-4-1-2 and a 3-4-2-1. I'm hoping the 3-4-1-2, because it's what was the main formation we used when we actually got promoted. We've used the 3/5 at the back quite a lot recently, and a fair few times last season as well. So we've got a lot of familiarity with that formation. However, the 3-4-2-1 we haven't seen play. However, still sticking with the back three, still sticking with the four in midfield. I don't think it will take ages and ages to adapt to it. However, for the Bournemouth game, I would hope that we would go with the 3-4-1-2, purely out of the fact of we have got a lot of familiarity with it, and Nuno's he's going to have about 2 training sessions to really get to know the players and get to know what their best roles are. So yeah, that's going to be a tough thing for both players and manager. However, looking at Wolves, they also, especially when they first got promoted to the Premier League, they adapted a bit. They knew you're going to have to be a lot more defensive. They switched to a 3-5-2, so an extra sort of midfield body deeper. And if they were chasing a game, they would obviously, at that time, they would bring on someone like a Gibbs-White and play him a bit further forwards. So yeah, we have experimented with that a couple of times. I believe last season, I remember especially against Man City, we did that. We have played with that 3 midfield body before, when obviously we played with the 4-3-3. So again, it's something that I'd like to think wouldn't take us too long to adapt to. And also when it's come to defending, when they're trying to see out a game, they've always gone with a 5-3-2, a lot more compact, a bit more deeper, a little bit more defensive, which is what some people's concerns are, which is what one of my original concerns were. Is it going to be a bit too defensive? And at times in the transition, they look to lump the ball forwards towards Jimenez. It's not much of a punt, though. It seems to have a bit more strategic behind it. Something I can see working with the personnel that we've got. Chris Wood, a big target man. Owoni can be utilised as a target man as well when he is back fit. So we do have the bodies to work with that slight punt almost. And I have faith. I'm beginning to show a bit more faith in this Nuno project and this new era, which obviously I'm hoping is a good thing. I want to look in offense. In offense, it does look like the wing backs get a lot higher. It almost looks like a 3-3-4. With the 3 centre backs, three midfielders, and the 4 up front. This is mainly when it is the 3-5-2. But yeah, the wing backs will be really, really high, pressing, especially when we want to be on the front foot. Because as much as Nuno had a bit of a reputation for being a bit more defensive, in some games people would be pushing really high up the pitch. I remember, especially when Wolves first came to the Premier League, I remember the Man United game, they did this very, very well. And I think there's the players that we've got the players to do this, and especially now we've got a manager that's got a lot of experience with using this style of play. I think we can definitely string a couple of results together and hopefully keep us in the division. And looking at how, which sort of side we like to play, there's a lot of width. During the 2019-2020 season, the season that was sort of postponed for COVID halfway through, only Sheffield United played the ball like through the middle of the pitch less than Wolves. So that obviously shows a high emphasis on getting the ball out wide. Johnny Otto and Matt Doherty were the main wing backs used, and it often seems something if they went down the left, they would cause sort of overloads on the left. One of the strikers would come across, one of the midfielders would come across, which then often left Matt Doherty wide on the right hand side to provide the switch. Sometimes they would do that even earlier. One of the centre halves get it, mainly Connor Cody for Wolves, getting the ball and just pinging a long ball over the top to the right, which often cause 1v1s with the fullback, which is especially useful when a team is playing really narrow, pinging the ball over, and then Matt Doherty would be in a 1v1 with the fullback, which could often lead to a cross, sometimes even a shot. And this was very effective in their 3-2 comeback victory over Man City a couple of years ago. This can also, operate on the other side, Wolves getting the ball down the right hand side and providing the switch to the left. Primarily, though, it did happen on the left, and Matt Doherty being the one that's put in those 1v1 situations. However, it was used on both sides very effectively. And now, as much as he has been a castaway, I really do think Nuno Tavares, if he's in the right headspace to play, I think he's got that ability. Harry Toffolo has shown signs of doing it as well. However, I think Tavares, with how offensive he's been, how good he's been, and I also think Nico Williams, I think Nuno could really unlock Nico Williams even more. I think Cooper showed clear signs of unlocking him, and Nico was playing fantastically well. I think Nuno could even take him that step further. There's going to be a lot more emphasis on getting it wide and getting it on down to the wing backs, even more than Cooper did. Looking at how the two strikers operate, because it is primarily two players up front. He would have one striker being almost like a target man, hold the ball up, that being Raul Jimenez, and I do actually think Chris Wood could fit that role quite well, at least until Taiwo's back. We yet to really see too much of a target man play from Taiwo. I think it will take a bit of time to adapt, because he's normally good at getting the ball and running at teams, whereas he will have to hold the ball up a bit more and try and play it into someone who's faster. Now, until January is up and running, I think Chris Wood would be that player to hold the ball up, and then Anthony Elanga, probably the fastest player at the club, I would say, and getting the ball in behind to him and getting it in behind the back lines and running straight through on goal. He's shown that he's got the ability in 1v1 situations, he's got the ability to get in behind. So can we unlock that? I personally think we can. Something Wolves were particularly good at under Nuno's reign was corners and set plays. Now, this is going to be something I will be very surprised if Nuno can't unlock, because we have been stinky on corners. Gibbs White, as much as he's a fantastic player and he's one of the key reasons we did stay up, he's not known for his set play specialties. So I'll be very surprised if Nuno does put him on corners. The whole set play system needs a complete revamp. It's something that I probably would be very much open to criticising Cooper about. The set plays, they weren't great. Now, that's obviously not all on him in terms of the players taking them. I've got to take a bit more responsibility in that sense. However, in terms of where each player was, there was that absolute comedic tactic against Newcastle on the opening day last season, where we had literally, I think we had one player in the box, then we would whip one in, and then the whole, a line of players would sprint in at last minute, which had the potential to be something good. But then we decided to play the corner straight in front of 6'4" Nick Pope. So yeah, I think the corner strategy would need some improvement. However, looking at Wolves' side, especially in the first year in the Premier League, they had a multitude of players above the height of 6 foot, being Raul Jimenez, Dendoncker, Saiss, Bennett and Willy Bolly, all being above 6 foot and all providing set play threats. Willy Bolly especially, I believe he was the third highest goal scoring defender from set plays. Only I think Shane Duffy and Sol Bamba that year got more set play goals than Willy Bolly, and he's at the club now, which is a very vitally important thing, to have a player that Nuno knows to be in and around the club. And also, Bolly's had a very good experience in the first team and has probably been one of our best centre-halves aside from Muriel this season. And it's a very vital thing to have players that you've worked with previously. So yeah, I would absolutely love for him to start. If he can stay fit, because that's been the one issue with Bolly, whenever he started playing well, he has got injured. If he can stay fit, I think if we're going to get the set plays working, he could be a vital part of that. Now, looking at a slight negative factor here in terms of the squad size, Nuno's openly said he's never worked with a squad this size before, and he said in previous interviews when he was at Wolves, he likes a smaller squad, which did sort of cause him issues to start their second season when they did get Europe, playing a higher quantity of games, having like a main 11 and then like 3 or 4 players outside of that. You need to make changes. However, we don't have that luxury of Europe. We're knocked out the Carabao Cup. We could progress in the FA Cup, but you never know. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see how that one goes. So yeah, I would expect a large amount of players to be exiting in January if Nuno is given that free openness of getting the players in he wants and getting rid of the players he doesn't want. Looking how Nuno could set up come the Bournemouth game, I'm hoping he does go with the 3-4-1-2, as I think that'll be the most familiar with the group. And also, I don't really want Chris Wood as the lone striker for this game. However, I think Vouch in goal. The goalkeeper doesn't have any major roles under Nuno from what we saw with Rui Patricio. Isn't really a sweeper keeper. So I just think, especially if we're going to rely on some slight longer balls forwards towards the strikers, I don't really trust Matt Turner that much, especially with his shenanigans versus Tottenham. So I'm going to put Vouch back in goal. I think a goalkeeper does have to be on the shopping list come January. However, I think Vouch is slightly better. Looking at the back three, I think it sort of writes itself. Willy Bolly, Muriel and Niakate, if fully fit, if available, I think that is our back three. Obviously, when Bolly isn't available, because it's almost inevitable when he does get injured, Felipe can fill that role. But especially in the early days, while the team don't fully know Nuno's system, someone that he's worked with and someone that he's had loads of appearances for, Willy Bolly, to marshal that defence is vital. Now, the wing-backs, I've put Tavares in there, purely out of the fact of how his roles have been at Arsenal, how far he's got forwards when he was out on loan in France, how offensive he was, and with how Nuno plays his wing backs, especially if he's in the right frame of mind, start him. If not, then obviously don't. And at right wing back on Nico Williams, that's no brainer. He's been absolutely sensational under Cooper, and I think Nuno, with the ability he's got to develop wing backs, can take him to the next level. On midfield 2, I've gone with Danilo and Mangala. Midfield was a major emphasis on Nuno's success at Wolves. Neves and Moutinho especially were absolutely sensational. Moutinho was vital in linking the play, and Neves, his sheer ability from range was fantastic. I think Danilo's going to be that more Moutinho role, and Mangala I can see maybe being the more Neves role. However, I don't really think Mangala's got that trait just yet of being able to smash one in from 25 odd yards out. However, we'll have to wait and see. We've got a lot of midfield options, so it'll be interesting to see which 2 or 3 he picks. As a 10, Gibbs White, I've seen a lot circling on Twitter saying that he had a falling out, or bringing in a £45 million player and bringing in a new manager that doesn't like him. There's articles that I have also seen saying that he likes Gibbs White a lot, and he said in his press conference with a beaming smile on his face that it is a vital thing that he has someone like Gibbs White, that he's developed a lot, he's changed into a man, in Nuno's words. So yeah, that has to be in his preferred role as well. With Gibbs White, he's been playing out on the wings, out wide a lot more, and I think it's vital for him to be in the middle, especially when we're not playing with wingers. And up front, Chris Wood is that target man role, and Elanga to make those runs in behind, almost like a Diego Jota role, and Chris Wood playing as a Jimenez role. I'd like to see Taiwo playing that role, but he's not available just yet, so we will have to wait and see. However, that is how I think Forest will set up, and how I think we could integrate Nuno's style into the team. Thank you all for watching. Make sure you smash that like button, subscribe if you are in fact new, and turn on the notifications bell so you never miss a video. And I will see you all next time. Goodbye.